Welcome, everyone, to another fun episode of Exploring Our Secret Past. I'm your host, Michael Koff, and I'm here with Andy Fisher from The Crazy Thoughts of a Brit and a Texan and Rejects Roundtable.
Good evening.
How you doing, Andy?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me on.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
So why don't you take a little bit and introduce yourself to everyone who may not know you?
Okay, excuse the clock. I got my car clock going off real quick. It's almost done. There we go. All right. So, yeah, my name's Andy Fisher. Actually, my name's Andrew Fisher, but that's my Sunday name. My wife only uses that when I've done something wrong. I was born in 82 in Great Britain and started getting into the paranormal field, I want to say around 2006, 2007. And, excuse me. And then I moved to Texas with my wife in 2013. And I've had a steady interest in the paranormal field for quite a bit. I mean, you know, it's just one of my favorite things. I love anything mysterious, spirits, ghosts, all that good stuff.
Wow, I had no idea I was older than you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in 78.
Hey, I've had a hard life, dude. That paper round kicked my ass, bro.
So, question for you, being that, you know, obviously from your show title, you're the Brit of the duo. So, what is your favorite place in England to investigate?
Oh, without a doubt, York. York is so beautiful. It's a small city in England. If anyone goes to England, visit York. Everyone wants to go to London. Now, don't get me wrong, London's got a lot of history, but York goes right back to the Viking period. I mean, they've still got a settlement that you can actually walk over. It's called the Jorvik Centre in York. And you get to see the remains of the village, and you get to go around a tour on this little electric thing. It's pretty cool. York's just an amazing place. I've had so many good experiences out there.
So, what do you find in York is the most haunted aspect? Because I know it's like you're saying, it's been contested in history. I mean, every culture that came in to colonize England has gone and had fights at York.
So, actually, you've watched the film Braveheart, right?
Yes.
So, York was attacked by the Scots, and it was absolutely pummelized by the Scots. But it goes, like I said, it goes right back to the Jorvik Centre. One of the most haunted locations I've ever been at in York. Is that the question you're asking me, Mike? I wasn't quite sure. One of the most haunted locations I've been at York is called the Golden Fleece. And this building, the foundations have been there since like the 1200s. The building itself has been there since the 1500s or the late 1400s. And it's that old, Mike, that the floors are crooked. When you walk in, if you're drunk, you're going to have fun because the floors are all over. Because if you look at the building, you can see where it's kind of subsided over the time that it's been there. But like literally none of the floors in that building are straight. But absolutely phenomenal on the paranormal aspect of things. I mean, just one of the best locations I've ever been to in England.
Which brings me to one of my questions about that location is, what are some of your experiences of the Golden Fleece, York, that you've had?
Okay, so first of all, is the Golden Fleece is where I basically. Now this is going to sound horrible because I'm just not romantic. I'm just not a romantic person. I basically turned around to my wife and said, "Do you want to get married outside the Golden Fleece?" So we decided to have our honeymoon in York, and we stayed in the Golden Fleece. So the one night that we were staying in the Golden Fleece, I was trying to get to sleep, and I got like a chair in front of me, and then we're on like a 4-poster bed. Don't get excited; it is what it is. Um, and basically, I was trying to sleep. So, first thing I did is I turned the chair around because literally it felt like someone was sat on the chair and was literally just looking at me as much as say, I'm watching you. You know what I'm saying? So then I turned that chair around and I'm like, perfect. Now I can get to sleep. Not the case. Because I'm trying to sleep and I'm ignoring everything because I don't know. You know that I can sense stuff.
Right.
You've seen it. And I was trying to get to sleep, and my wife turns around and she says, Hey, Andy, do you know that that tassel's moving on the corner of the bed? Now, bear in mind, there's no windows near this bed. There's no drafts. There's not anything happening. And this tassel is moving. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm trying to sleep. Leave me alone, please. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's one of the experiences. The other one is disembodied voices. We all at one point heard a that freaked me out. That's probably another really good experience.
So is your wife into it as well, or was this a brand new for her?
When she met me, it was kind of brand new for Amanda. She is not as into it as I am.
Fair enough. So the other question I have around the Golden Fleece is you appeared, I guess is the term we use, you were on the radio show BBC Radio York about the Golden Fleece. So what was that like?
It's interesting. Got to meet some interesting people. Now, if you ask me the names of the people, I'll be honest with you, I haven't got a clue. It's been probably 10 years since I've been on that radio. It was interesting, dude, because it was the first paranormal investigation I ever did, where we was followed with a radio station. So they had the microphone. They were doing interviews with the team that I was with. A team invited me. The BBC Radio York invited me. I actually got emotional that night. Something actually made me bawl a little bit. It was an interesting experience. Lots of feelings at the Golden Fleece. Lots of history.
So what was it like having the radio crew following you around? Do you think it impacted what everybody was getting?
No, because it was very minimal. It was very minimal. Once we got into a room, there's very minimal interference with the investigation. Extremely minimal.
So I know I already feel like I know the answer to this, and so don't get mad about me asking this, but I feel like I ought to. With the radio station being there, was there any of like what we get in some of the shows where people will yell out randomly, "Oh my God, did you hear that?" when there was no sound, just trying to build up hype?
I don't recall that happening actually that night. I actually
All
don't
right.
recall that. No, I will say they were very professional around me.
Well,
So
that's
I
good.
get what you're saying, but no, they was actually very professional.
All right. Well, Joshua wants to give you a shout out for admitting that.
Thank you, Joshua.
And so I'm kind of curious with, you said you got married in York and honeymooned in York and then moved to Texas. What brought you to the U.S.?
Honestly, my wife, she got homesick. That's the honest
Okay.
answer. Um, I had two options open to me. One is we could move separate ways and do different things, which obviously would void the marriage at that point. Or option
Right.
two was I came back here and I tried to make a life out here and we made it work out here, and it's been going strong ever since. So, a few little hiccups, but everyone has hiccups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not much of a marriage if it's all perfect and like the fairy tales, because
No,
even
no.
the fairy tales have a dark side that nobody wants to admit to. So what are some of the major differences you find living on our side of the pond versus the British side?
There's so many. Um, First of all, you guys drive on the wrong side of the road.
You know, you say that, but isn't the UK like the only country that drives on that side of the road?
No, actually, Japan, Australia, uh, the UK, and I think there's another, but I can't remember which one it is.
Okay, so that's four out of what, 100 countries. So I kind of think you guys are the odd ones on that.
I think no, I don't think so. I think what you got to understand is a lot of the people that drive on the. I think India may do as well. Pakistan may drive on the right side of the road. Um, it was all at one point a British colony.
Right.
But let me give you a little history lesson on this because I researched why we drive on the right side of the car versus the left side of the car. Because I was like, why are the British doing everything different to everyone else? Or what, you know.
Right.
Turns out it goes right back to when you were on horseback. Your sword hand, typically, unless you're a lefty, your sword hand is on your right. So you want to be closest to that if you need to engage somebody. That's why we drive on the right hand side of the vehicle. It all goes back
Good to
to
know.
when we were riding the horses. So it's you guys that are weird, not us.
Well, that's because we don't carry swords. We carry guns, so it doesn't matter which side.
Hey, I'm talking about the medieval times, 1600s, 1500s. It
Right.
goes right back to that. It's like you guys call your lieutenants lieutenants. We won't call lieutenants lieutenants. They're lieutenants. The reason is because a loo is the loo is a toilet back home in England. So we
Right.
think it's disrespectful to call it lieutenant. That's why we call them lieutenants. Another piece of history there for you, Michael.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I never put that together. I had known about the horses, but I never put together why that would be on the right side.
Yeah, we're very stuck in the ways, the Brits.
Well, and I gotta love the fact that as much as y'all have modernized in England, like for example, all the roads are still the same width as the Roman age.
No, that's not accurate. Um, so I used to be a bus driver back home before I came to Texas, and there were some small roads, but no, they're small. They're not like America. Trust me, Americans have an heart attack when they get over to England.
Right.
Quick funny story, real quick. Uh, Funny story. So, no, it's not funny. So, it's a sad story, but there's a funny story involved in it. So, my sister, unfortunately, she passed away in 2019. So, I had two options, and that's the worst thing having a discussion with your sister. Do you want me to go to the funeral, or do you want me to come see you while you're still here? And she told me she wanted me to go to the funeral because she knew that my mum was going to need me, right?
Right.
So I flew over when obviously she passed away. And the first thing I did when I got to airport, I saw my little rental car. And I called my mum. I said, Mum, I'm here, but there's a problem. She says, what's that? I said, steering wheel's on the wrong side of the road. On the wrong side of the car.
No,
That was
funny.
I'm telling you, like, that's the first thing because you don't realize when you get used to something for so much. Bear in mind, I hadn't drove in England for like 6 years at that point. So you don't realize how acclimatized you get to something until you get back to England. You're like, hold on a minute, that doesn't look right.
Right.
And
I
you
know
know,
what you mean.
and like most of the cars over here in Texas, they're all tint. Over there, we don't really use tint. So you could immediately see where the steering wheel was. Anyway, that's off topic. I apologize about that, Michael. I just wanted
No
to let you
worries.
know about that story.
No, I appreciate it. And to be honest, the floor is yours. I'm just here along for the ride. So,
I understand.
you backstage had mentioned to me about having a special announcement, and
Okay.
Stephen Woodard has called you out and said, "Do you have a special announcement?"
I do. So the round table, we are gonna. Oh, the rejects round table. I apologize. We are going to be live on Paralinux 2 on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm so excited to join this network. I'm hoping, we grow and you guys enjoy us, and we're all about having laughs. That's the main thing. Having laughs and talking some serious content.
And just to set the pace is our show is on Paralinks 1, and so Paralinks 2 is our sister network channel online. So that's really cool that you're joining the family. And I can tell you, a lot of the show hosts are coming in and wishing you well in the comment section.
That's perfect. I really appreciate that. Guys, I'm so excited. I really am. I really
And
am. I just love talking about the paranormal. Now, if
oh yeah,
I might not know everything. I know I don't know everything. People are still. What people don't realize in this field, people might be out there and be like, I've had 50 years of experience. Let's say this old guy's like walking with his, what they're called in America, not Zimmer frame. I call them Zimmer frames. What they called? Strollers. The
right.
stroller. You know what I mean? He's 80 years old. I've had 50 years experience in paranormal field. This is how you do this. What you don't realize is we're all still learning. There's so many different things that we're finding on a weekly, monthly basis. Whenever you're doing a paranormal investigation, you always run into something new.
Yeah.
I found that myself.
My friend Eileen is correcting you and saying we call them walkers.
Okay, thank you, Eileen. I appreciate that. I'm gonna answer Joshua's question real quick for you. I miss my family in the UK, so I miss my mum. But I mean, there's certain things that I would miss in Texas, and there's certain things that I miss in England. I'll answer that like that.
So your big announcement actually is well timed. Thank you, Stephen, because I was one of my question was, can you tell us a little bit about what the Rejects Roundtable is?
Yeah, it's a bunch of people that have known each other for quite a while. We love to talk about anything paranormal. I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's mainly focused on paranormal, whether it be aliens, Bigfoot, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to be talking about all sorts of different subjects. But not only that, we're all going to have fun about it as well. Like, for anyone that's going to be watching us, you're going to find out I'm a big scaredy cat sometimes. I like to run. Michael will vouch for that.
Actually, I can.
And I get stick for that all the time. But look, you run away to live another day. That's the way I see it.
So Stephen says, oh, by the way, Andrew Fisher had an absolute blast investigating with you in Mineral Wells, which brings me to another question of mine. Stephen, did you read my questions and not tell me? You list that your favorite location in Texas is the Beach Army Hospital in Mineral Wells.
Such a shame we can't get back in that location.
Yeah. So what about it makes it your favorite?
It's going to kind of sound a little bit messed up, but it's the only one location in, I would say, 16 years of investigating where I had something did successfully take me over that night. It's one of the scariest locations I've been to. Stones thrown at you. I mean, come on, Mike. You know what the PX store in the bank's like.
Right.
You've seen how active that is. Times that by about 5.
Man.
Yeah,
so how many times did you investigate the Beach Army?
I did. I think I got 8 under my belt before it was closed down, before we lost access to it.
All right. So did all of this start right away, or did it kind of build up and like it was more towards the 8th?
It built up, and so here's what happened. I'll tell you the story. Give me like 5 minutes. So it was October, Halloween. It was Halloween night, 2020. Now, you know yourself, Texas didn't really lock itself down. So we was doing an investigation, and there was 30 people in that investigation, and a small crew that was running the investigation for another team. You know what I mean?
Which
So
team?
that I'm not sure whether that's a good idea mentioning right now,
Okay.
but we was running the investigation for a team, and shit got real, dude. Because pardon my French, I apologize. If you remember, in 2020 we had the two full moons that weekend.
Oh,
So it
that's
was,
right.
yeah, October. The beginning of October, we had a full moon. And guess what? Halloween night. Guess what we had Halloween night? Another full moon. So the energy was just like off the charts. So we all decided we were going to get slightly dressed up for this. So I'm like, you know what? I do airsofting sometimes. I've got the, the uniform, the camouflage trousers, the top and all that good stuff. I'll go dressed and I'll be a zombie. I'll be a soldier zombie, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not a good idea, because when the white paint came out, I realized that my skin, I have very sensitive skin, guys. Don't laugh. Um, um, I realized that the paint wasn't going to work, so we'd agreed that it was just going to put some blood on my forehead and down my face and stuff. Now, what was Beach Army Hospital for? It was for wounded soldiers.
Right.
I triggered something that night. I know it sounds stupid, but I was wearing the uniform. I looked like I'd been shot several times, because when they put blood on my head, it got on the uniform too. So they
I'm
saw me
sure
as
that
one of them. So, yeah. So it went downhill from there. Basically, long story short, we had a lady, the first victim. She was that out of it, Michael. We almost carried her out of there.
Oh, so
Literally.
so when you say victim, you're meaning like actual, like, wow,
She
not
was
just
seeing.
something slightly happened. It was
No,
a
it was off the charts. It's like, honestly off the charts. Like, she was seeing faces in the trees.
oh dang.
I messed up myself. What caused the issue with me, Michael? Whenever I'm treating anybody, I call it paranormal first aid. Whenever anyone's getting affected with what I can do, I can ease them down a little bit. I can take some of the stuff away from them, and they feel a little bit better. What I did wrong that night, instead of me putting my hand on their shoulder, which I normally do, I gave her my hand, and she took control of my hand. She put her hand on top of my hand. That's giving whatever was on her control over me.
Right.
That's when it went downhill. I got saged 12 times that night. I remember 3 of them. I wanted to kill one of the guys that was there. I literally wanted to kill him. I had to be kept away from him. I wasn't myself. So that's why it's my favorite location, because other than the stone throwing, the door slamming, just disembodied voice. 15 people heard a growl outside of my head. 15 people heard it. It was silent, and we all heard. Bleh. I'm telling you, I'd love to. If I win lottery, I'm buying Beach Army Hospital.
Yeah, you probably could. So Steven says your favorite thing about mineral wells is the tarantulas and bathroom doors, right?
Oh God, yeah. Let me tell you. So the bathroom door. You know what's awesome about that, Mike? You heard about that because you was at the location that night.
I was in the bank. So to clarify, we have left Beach Army and we're now at the
I'd never been to Beach Army that night.
Bank arm and the bank. No, I mean we left.
Oh, okay.
Beach Army, and we're talking
my bad.
about Fort Walters now.
Yeah, okay. So we're talking about Fort Walters, the scare grounds out there. Great location. Literally a stone's throw away from Beach Army Hospital.
It is.
So, unbeknownst to me, I met with a guy called Chris, and he does an artist impression of a spirit, or you can see spirits, or you can draw the spirits. And I said to Chris, Chris, do you want to come investigate with me? No one's doing it. I'm like, I'm sat on board. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'll come with you. Well, then I met two ladies, and little did I know that people was already watching us. I guess there was some activity around us that I didn't know about. I mean, we could hear knocking and all that good stuff on the walls. So then I said, you know what? Let's go to toilets. So what happened was I was stood facing the toilets. It's the female toilets, by the way. And there's a lady. You can see a flashlight coming from the left. And a lady popped her head round. I said, you know what? Come on in. You can come join us. Come have fun with us. She declined. She walked away. She went wherever. Next thing I know, there's another flashlight coming on the right side of me where the door's closed. This flashlight, the door opened and this flashlight came through and I said, oh, come on in. You're not doing any harm. Come join us. As soon as I said that, the door closed, the flashlight went away. Both me and Chris went out there and explored all the rooms. And also outside, because there's an exit to the left. There was no one there that could have done what happened. And little did I know, they actually caught that on the CCTV.
Yeah.
People saw it happen.
Yeah. And believe me, it's one of those things when I heard about it in the bank, we stopped what we were doing and we rushed over to see what was going on.
Well, what freaked me out more than anything, Steve came out because Steve was one of those that had actually saw the door open. And we tried to explain it. We tried to debunk it. After we tried debunking it, we went outside, and then I'm going to call this Tarantula Arnold. That's when we met the tarantula. So Arnold was sat there, and everyone's like, oh my God, look at the size of him. So I like tarantulas at a distance. They're so cool because I like how slow they are. They're just like chilling, minding their own business. So yeah, I do remember that night, Steve. It was excellent.
So Joshua says, do you feel some entities followed you from England and are mad you repatriated?
I don't think so. If they did, they're keeping very quiet right now. If they did, they're very quiet right now. I did actually do a paranormal investigation out there when I was there. Hello, Gypsy. That's probably Stacy or maybe Gypsy that came in.
Yeah, I thought you'd like seeing that comment.
So it was nice when my team members are there.
So what are your vision for the crazy thoughts of a Brit and a Texan?
Right now, I'm not sure where we're going with that one. Because now I've started the Rejects Roundtable. I was originally doing that with the paranormal side of things. My vision with that is just have fun with that one. Just random subjects. For example, I did Top Gun review yesterday. Which was fun.
Top Gun?
Top Gun. Maverick.
Oh, okay.
We still sometimes talk about the power. That was last night. That was with Logan last night.
Right. I thought you said you did Top Gun with me, and I was like, wait a second, did I do a show and forget I did a show?
With the crazy thoughts of a Brit and a Texan, we still sometimes touch on the paranormal. So yeah, I mean that one is just purely we're gonna have fun with that one.
Yeah,
the one that's
on that show, I can vouch for that.
It's strictly fun on that show. So the hey Shannon, I do remember the Hill House. That was an interesting night that night. So yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. The Rejects Roundtable is where the paranormal content is going to be more structured.
Okay. So, a question I like to ask some of the friends that I have that I've known that are in the paranormal field for a while. What advice, if any, do you offer to paranormal investigators regarding equipment and the usage of gifts.
Be very careful with the uses of gifts, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Um, if you feel like you've got a gift, you may want to contact someone that's got a similar gift and try and get some training. Because
Now, let me back up a second because I think we kind of jumped over and kind of brushed on it, but I want to bring full awareness to what do you call and consider your gifts?
me personally,
Yes.
okay, so my gift, I don't know if it's a gift. Sometimes it's a curse, dude.
I know. I feel the same way too.
You know. So I can sense where a spirit is. I can feel where a spirit is. I can feel what that spirit's feeling. So let's say, for example, Broken Bow was a perfect example. It's the first time I've been with you when you could actually feel what I was feeling. I was so happy. I was so happy that you had that face in front of you. You could see it. I couldn't see it, but I know what was ever in front of you was pissed. I could feel it. Now sometimes I get names. I can't talk to spirits in the sense that talk to them. You know what I mean? It's all in my mind's eye. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
I know where a spirit is. I know what they're feeling. I know whether it's a male or a female. I know whether it's a kid or not. Don't trust kid spirits. You've got to do some research on that because that could be a little dodgy. So yeah, it's just, be careful. My gifts, I've learned to control it a little bit more. You'll find that out tomorrow, actually. Not tomorrow, but Thursday. If you watch this podcast on Thursday, because I went with John, dude. I went on an actual investigation with John where we went and helped a family. And I felt a lot stronger after that with what I put up with that night.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's a weird way I do things.
Well, besides not being the first or last in a room.
Oh, yeah, I can't stand that shit. Yeah. No, look, so there's a theory on that one, dude. Look, the first one normally gets it, or the last one normally gets it. Have you never watched an horror movie?
Oh, I have. I just added a little humor because...
That's... I can't... I cannot... Yeah, I can't do it. What's happening with Anthony?
I think Anthony is checking out. He was tuning in, and I think he had to leave.
No, he's here. I see the question. Do you want me to answer the question for him?
Sure.
I didn't believe in any of this. Any of this stuff that we're doing now. I didn't believe in any of it. Actually, my mum went to a spiritualist church. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, Michael.
I am.
So my mum went to a spiritualist church, and I used to make fun of my mum for going to a spiritualist church. But I call him my granddad, but he's not my granddad by blood. I never had grandparents growing up. So this guy kind of took me under his wing, and he was my granddad. And he passed away, and the way I found out was... It was just a horrible way of finding out. I found out by a letter the day before his funeral. So it kind of knocked me for 6. That's when I started getting into this field. And I went to the spiritualist church and I said, look, I really want to connect with the spirit world. Teach me how to do it. And that's how I started. And I've never looked back since. But you know what sucks? Is the friend that I've been trying to contact never got in touch with me. I know he's been around, but I've not had a conversation with him like that.
Yeah. So, well, that kind of... So, just to understand, so your gifts kind of came after you were exposed to the paranormal and were getting into the paranormal? Oh,
before. It was before the paranormal. I didn't believe in any of this before that. But when I started doing that and I started learning that I could communicate with spirits and stuff in a certain way, that's when I started getting involved in the paranormal field.
Okay. So glad. So, kind of adding a little bit of levity to the night. We like to have some fun. So, kind of wondering, this question might get you in a little bit of trouble with your friends in the UK. I'm not sure. But which is more fun, investigating in the US or investigating in the UK?
I think they're both equally as fun.
Oh, look at you, toting the
Yeah,
line.
yeah. But do you want me to go back and answer that question that we never got to answer?
Which one?
With the, do you have any special advice for the, or did you jump the gun on that one?
Oh, no, we can go back and
Because
answer that
I
one if
don't
you
feel like
want.
I got to answer that one. So as far as the gifts, I think we covered the gifts.
Right,
Equipment, a flashlight. You already know it. Just the flashlight. That's all I need. My body and my flashlight. Your body is the best instrument you've got. You proved that at Broken Boat, Michael.
right.
And, the K2, I like the K2. The SB7, I think that's a little bit overrated. I've said that on Gypsy Soul Paranormal.
I gotta say, you got me on that one because I thought for sure you were gonna say K2.
No, the K2, you've got to be careful with the K2 because K2 you can get false readings. You just got to know how to use a K2. Let's be honest with you, a K2 is basically designed to find electrical cables. That's what
Right,
electricians use them for. So you've got to be very careful. Now, if you go to an abandoned building and there's no electrics and you're getting spikes, that's interesting.
right.
You can't explain Broken Bow that night that we were in Broken Bow and I was getting answers.
No, no, I can't because the things we were hearing around it at the same time really kind of just added to it. It was like confirmation of, yeah, we're hearing something. The K2's going off. That, yeah, something was definitely there.
Now, don't get me wrong, with that K2, you got to be careful where you use it. Because if you buy an outlet or you buy a cable that sends currents through, it could give you a false reading.
Right,
And I'm not going to try and fake paranormal activity. If I'm getting questions and I'm getting legitimate answers to the questions, that's kind of hard to debunk.
right. Um, so were you with me the time when Ashley did the dowsing rod session in that room and we all went around and were
What do you mean?
asking
Was I with you? You already know what the answer was for that one. They
well,
didn't like.
I was
They
trying to
didn't like
remember because
me.
I've been there 4 times now, and I'm like, I don't remember which times who was with what.
So you on about when she was going around the room and she was asking questions?
Right. So, do you feel like you like that method in investigating using the rods, or
So the rods are. It's just like pendulums. The rods and the pendulums are easy to manipulate. I don't mean to be a dick when I'm saying this because I'm not a skeptic by any means. But look, I always look at it from a skeptic's point of view. Um, Now, subconsciously, are we moving the rods for the answers? But is that the spirits that's moving the rods for the answers, making us move the rods for the answers? Same with the pendulum.
right?
That's why I kind of stopped using both those assets because they're too easy to debunk.
I'm kind of the same way, but it's like I went back and was like looking at the footage, and man, I gotta tell you, I zoomed in and I was like, I could not see her move a muscle to make
Right,
the
and that's
rods move.
and that's perfect. But the reason I stopped doing it is because I got called out, and I was trying to keep as steady as I could. I had the rods to my chest,
Right,
but someone said, "Oh, you're moving it. You're a fake." At that point, I'm not going to sit there and argue with people. I'd rather not use the piece of equipment. I'd just
right,
rather
and
not do it.
yeah, and unfortunately that happens, but I it's kind of, to me, is sad to hear that you don't use it now because of that, because it still is a tool
No, I
that, if
agree.
used properly.
I agree because that night confirmed a lot of stuff that we were getting and stuff like that.
Right.
Like the person didn't like me, but that's because of something I did in a previous life. How can I fix that?
Right. I know.
You know what I mean?
So, right. So Joshua is asking, apps on phones ridiculous. What's your take on some of the apps?
Okay, this is a touchy subject because I noticed that quite a at Broken Bow there's quite a few people using the apps. Um, I think as phones are getting more technologically advanced, I think they could be developed into a paranormal tool. Do I believe we're at that stage right now? I don't think so. That's my answer on that one.
All right.
I think that's a fair answer, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm the
I
same
don't
way.
believe
I'm
I don't
skeptic
mess
of
with.
some of them.
Yeah, I don't mess with them. I think it's BS.
Yeah, I mean, especially the ones that are designed to be the obvious, because I'll tell people straight up, it's a database of words they're drawing from. Are we getting confirmation? Maybe, but it's hard to tell because it's words that are programmed in, not words that it's hearing and creating.
I'll tell you the worst piece of equipment I don't like, and I can tell you a quick story, is actually an Ovulus. I can't stand that piece of equipment. Because I went to Miss Molly's in Fort Worth, and you remember that orange Mustang, Ed?
Right.
I literally just bought that orange Mustang like the weekend before. And the Ovulus was coming out with British, die, coffin, beheaded, car crash, round bend, too fast. Literally coming out the Ovulus. And I drive home because Mesquite to Fort Worth's 45 minutes, right?
Right.
So I'm like,
I'm the same way.
I'm trying to play it down. I'm like, because we're with a decent sized group of people, like, Andy, we suggest that you stay tonight. Just stay here tonight for us, please. I'm like, no, don't be daft. I'm good. I'm safe. I'll drive back. Everything's good.
Yeah.
First thing I do as I turn around, a beautiful night, got my roof down. All of a sudden, gust of winds. I get, what's them mini tornadoes called? Dirt Devil?
Yep.
Drive through a Dirt Devil. My car gets absolutely covered in dust on the interior. Pull over, put my roof up, start driving, going over the overpass at like no more than 50 mile an hour because I kind of took it on board. I need to be a little bit careful driving home. First thing, the gust of the winds have got up to 70 mile an hour, so I'm in a convertible at this point. My car was like a sail at that point. It almost took me off the road. But I got back safely, but I don't like Ovuluses for that reason. I'm out after that.
Well, at least it kept you safe that one time.
Yeah.
So, Anthony wants to know, do you believe the Ouija board and spirit box are the same thing?
No. Totally different. I would not mess with a Ouija board. I'll mess with a spirit, but I'm guessing it means SB7.
Right.
I will never ever mess with a Ouija board because unless you are fully trained and you know how to open and close the Ouija board properly, it can cause problems. So no, I don't believe that.
I'm the same way about Ouija boards, and I get.
I'm sounding like a right dickhead right now, right?
Yeah, I get called on it, and people will say to me, well, it's just a tool. I'm like, if you use it right, but if you don't, then that's a whole nother subject. And I ain't one to clean up the mess.
Right. Right. No, and you know, similarly, can't get into details, but that's a similar story with the family that we went and helped on Saturday. Ouija boards and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So your friends at Gypsy have left you a message?
I see that. I think she's on about the pendulum and the things that we were talking about, the dowsing rods.
Right.
I'm excited. So yeah, cool. Can't wait to see that. I'm like I say, I'm 50-50 on it.
Oh,
what else you got, Mike? Do not defend your action if your action are no wrong. I'm not following that one.
I think she's saying like you when you say I'm getting in trouble, but this is why I believe this. If it's your belief, then stand by your
Oh,
belief.
okay, yeah. So don't defend it. I got
Right.
it. Thank you, Gypsy. Stacy.
Ashley popped in and is asking you who at Broken Bow is using apps. Well, Ashley, that would be let's see, Tony, Carla. I think
I'm glad you remember
Christine
names.
from
I don't
their
remember
company
anyone's
using them.
names. Is that a bad thing? You're not meant to do that?
Um, that's a good point. I'm not quite sure, but
Okay.
I've been known to use it a couple of times just to kind of get validation of what I'm experiencing. But no, Ashley's pretty cool. If it was something she didn't like, then she would definitely be more outspoken about it.
Okay. What else you got, Mike?
So Joshua's saying, "Don't be daft, love it, Miss England." Hey, Carla's popping in from Nashville.
Hey,
So
Carla.
Carla, just to reiterate, is on vacation right now. So thank you, Carla, for stopping in and checking in on the show. Hope you're having fun there. Gypsy is saying, "Come on, let's play, Andrew."
That's coming, Gypsy. That is coming. I can't wait. That's not too far away. 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks on Saturday. That's coming.
Oh, Ashley says she was just curious because it sounded like we were saying it was the location workers using it. No, I think it's other teams and other people, Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the other teams. No, I wasn't. I wasn't saying anything about the staff.
No, we love the broken bow. um, which kind of brings me to an interesting question of, do you have a bucket list of places in America and in Texas that you have yet to investigate?
I really want to go to Pennsylvania,
Or
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg?
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
one of the places I want to go to. That's like the place I want to go to, and then Salem.
Salem would
That's
be
that's
interesting.
Massachusetts, right?
Right.
Massachusetts, however you say it, whatever. But yeah,
Massachusetts.
Salem, Salem, New England, just because of the architecture out there is from the 1600s, so it would
Oh, yeah.
remind me of England a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure. No, it definitely would. Boston. There's a lot of the old architecture there.
So yeah, Gettysburg for sure though, because there was so much upset and torment and suffering there. You know that typically battlefields, even in England, and bear in mind, the last like real battle was fought on England was like the Civil War. The French as well. We fought the French in England a little bit, but
Who haven't you fought in England?
look, we had to.
You over here like, okay, we did France. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
I
who?
mean,
You've done
te-
everybody.
technically, we only fought America once because it was during the Revolution. You were still British at that point, so you technically wasn't American. You wasn't American until after that fight, so you were still British at that point.
Well, technically, we declared before we had won, but yeah, you're right. We weren't recognized.
You know what's funny though is George Washington still worshipped our king like crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's just it is what it is. I love America. It is. I absolutely love America.
One of
I
the
love both.
places.
I love both countries.
Yeah, I do too, honestly. But one of the places that I think would be a really interesting investigation, kind of along the same lines as Gettysburg, but Antietam.
I never even heard of that, bro.
It was the bloodiest day of our Civil War.
Okay.
More people died in that day than most of the whole like 3 day battles that took place. It was like, yeah, talk about the ground running red. That
Wow.
pretty much is Antietam. It was declared the bloodiest day in American history during a war.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So to me, I'm like, damn, that would be a wild investigation. And I've heard that people are investigating it, but it's like you always hear of, yeah, let's go Gettysburg. Gettysburg seems to get all the big press and the paranormal. Yes, Jerry. Antietam is in Sharpsburg, I believe, Maryland.
So Gettysburg for me as well is I'm a big. I don't know if you've ever watched Band of the Brothers, the Easy
I
Company.
did.
They actually have in Hershey, Pennsylvania. They actually have the museum out there for the Easy Company guys. So that's another reason for Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I have a lot of reasons to go to Pennsylvania.
I just like the fact, and then I'd like to go to New York. Uh, Maybe wear a bulletproof vest. Mind you, it's illegal over there. Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah. You might want to stay out of New York.
New Jersey, though, because I'm a big Kevin Smith fan.
Oh,
Kevin
I'm
Smith.
sorry, Donna. I just saw Donna's comment. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip you. She mentioned she's in Massachusetts, Salem, and Lizzie Borden. Oh, yeah.
I need an invite. Welcome out there. Invite us.
Yeah. So we only have a few minutes left, but are you familiar with the Lizzie Borden case?
That's basically where she killed all her family, right?
Well, actually, they're starting to find out that it may not have been her, that it could have been the neighbor came over and did it. And she may be being cleared of the murders. There's a.
So how did she survive?
Probably she either wasn't there at the time when it happened, or, he just maybe had, a special interest in her, and so, kept her alive. I'm not sure, but I was reading and I was watching a show about it that they showed forensically. She could not have committed one of the murders because she was too short to do the angle of damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Donna is saying, yeah, it was down the street from me. It was her cousin or uncle.
Oh, wow. Maybe she was in on the act then, especially if she didn't die. Because you would have thought she'd have been an easy target, right?
Right. And
we should take
key to Goatman's Bridge.
Been there, done. I've been there, done that. Overrated. I'm out. The only thing that's scary over there is the people that are living, not the dead.
Yeah. So it's in a college town, so yeah, it definitely can get.
One of the times I was there was people in ghillie suits jumping out on people. Yeah, I'm good. I'd rather stay away from that location.
Ashley said it has to have been a male family member who knew what her dad was doing to her. Yeah.
See, I'm with Ashley on that one. I'm with you on that one, Ashley, completely.
Donna says, no, she was clear. She was cleared, but everyone still remembers her for it, so that's why I say that, Donna. And Jerry says, go to Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Yeah, they did a whole paranormal TV show around that.
Really?
Roth was in on it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Joshua says, I think it was her younger sister. Ashley says...
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be with the right people.
I'll tell you what, Ashley. I'll tell you what, next time you go out there, Ashley, I'll come out with you. especially if you get it locked down like that.
Wow, Joshua says he slept in the boarding house. I can honestly say, Andy, I don't see you sleeping in the boarding house.
No, so here's the thing. For anyone that don't know, I've got a nickname for my wife. You already know what the nickname is.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone what the nickname is?
Oh no, you got to.
Okay, so there was a. It all leads back to Beach Army Hospital again. And she didn't just block me; she blocked another lady that was with us. Actually, it was Gypsy from the Rejects Roundtable, which you'll get to meet on Wednesday, guys. I'm so excited. What happened was she blocked us. So I've got a theory that my wife has got a spirit or something looking after her, to where nothing's gonna mess with her. But the spirit thought it was a good idea to close me and this other gypsy from seeing anything, which is not a good thing, especially when you're investigating. I like to have my wits about me. So she, from that day on, was forever known as Cockblock. So I think I can go anywhere with my wife, because they'll mess with me a little bit, but they won't mess with me the way they would mess with me if I was on my own.
Yeah, see, and I wanted you to explain the point behind it, because that's one of those nicknames that if you don't give context, can come out really.
It sounds wrong. Let me give you an example of what my wife is capable of. There's a K2 on a table with no power around it whatsoever. This K2 is spiking. Amanda goes sit by the K2, completely dead. No more K2 spikes. That's what happens around my wife.
She's a paranormal drainer.
She's basically a paranormal cockblock, dude. This is what you're gonna get on a Wednesday night with the rest of us. This is just how we are. I apologize for the language.
Yeah, nah, you're good. So Jerry Swope says the Bel Air House in Ohio. I think I might have heard of that one. I'm not quite so sure if it's the one I'm thinking of or not. Joshua says, "Be afraid, be very afraid."
Some of the things I've done in past. They keep trying to get me in a room on my own. I told them that's never gonna happen.
Oh, I've done it. I've been yelled at for it, but I've done it.
You did it for what, like 3 seconds? And then I realized what was going off?
Yeah, but still, yeah, it was funny. So, to set the story up, we're in a room in the asylum at Broken Bow. And was it Vincent with us that time?
It was Vincent at the time, yes.
Vincent goes underneath this partition in the wall to another room, and at the same time, I step into the hallway. Mind you, I'm still right next to the door frame, and Andy's sitting there, and he turns around, and he's like, "Mike, what are you doing? You can't leave me in here alone." And I was like, I go, "I'm right here. I'm in the door frame looking at the hallway." It's like, "No, you have to be in the room."
Yeah, no. So here's the thing with that's another piece of paranormal advice for you. Don't go anywhere on your own. You need someone with you, and you need someone with you that knows you well too. Because if something is going wrong with you, they need to know when to pull you out.
Right. So we have actually reached our time. You want to take a minute and just say what you got coming up, if anything coming up?
Yeah, so we don't start with the Paralytics 2 until next week. But you can find us on our Facebook page on Thursday. We're going to be live at 8:30. I believe we're going to be joined by John. And we're going to talk about the investigation that I did this weekend, which almost killed me, dude. It's a 3-hour drive. I didn't get back till 6. And then we're going to start rolling on Wednesday from 9 p.m. to, we believe, between 10:30 and 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday evening, after the Swamp Paranormal Swamp Files.
Paranormal Swamp Talk.
That's the one. We're on right after those.
You'll have fun following Howard.
So it's just going to be good. I want to answer Don
Donna.
Saxel, Donna. Sorry. Yeah, that's yeah. The Facebook is going to be Gypsy Soul Paranormal. That's where you can find a link, and that's where we'll be going live. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple if you're allowed to listen to podcasts at work. So we do supply. That's including the Crazy Thoughts of Brit and the Texan. That's on Facebook. You can follow us there. And then Gypsy Soul Paranormal is where you can watch the Rejects Roundtable.
And just to clarify, Gypsy is GYPSI, correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay.
Because it confused me at first.
No worries. I double checked it too. So
this is really short.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on. And I gotta cut it short because I think there's another show following us. So
okay.
We are grateful that you came on, and it was a great show to end out August. Next week we'll be talking with another lady that is from the UK, Katrina Sorlios, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And so stay tuned for that show next Tuesday, 9 o'clock on Paranormal Network 1. And so have a great night, everyone. And thank you for coming and watching the show.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.